We are live though. I hope we
Yeah.
are.
Let me double check. Live
Yeah, it's up.
now.
Yeah.
No man's dry or no man's sky. Nice.
Um,
We're up. You gotta just go back and forth between me and you.
yeah. There she blows. Can you do me a favor and share it?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to do.
Cool. We up. No. Sorry. I think I just shared all your personal info.
My personal info?
I'm kidding.
I got you don't got any personal info of mine to share, brother. Anything that you could share is on the internet somewhere already. Vaping.
Oh my god. Dang.
All right.
Ready to get started,
You
little
ready to get?
kitties? Even though we're already live?
Let's do it, chap.
Alright. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Greg from Enthusiast Gaming. We also have Jake on the call, who is BAM! Right there. Look at his beautiful hair.
What's up? I got a camera and everything, man.
I know if you've checked
Not
out
so.
any of our. If you checked out any of our last episodes, we did the Let's Discuss, but minus Jake over here without any camera, just his beautiful voice in the background, and now you can see him in all his glory.
Now you can see the man behind the magic.
The man behind the mask.
Magic.
No,
It's
the man
magic
behind
because
the
my voice.
mask.
My voice is magic. I don't have a mask
I
actually. I
will
don't wear
say,
one.
I will say, your voice is fairly studio once you mix it down, and it sounds beautiful on a video
Hopefully it
that
does.
you've. It's not like the real thing, the real raw
Oh,
voice.
thanks.
But so we got a couple things for you today. As you can see in the whole window here. I like to tile these just so it's a little bit more visible, drop some of the trailers in every once in a while. Some of the things we got going on, of course, No Man's Sky, that releases actually today at 1 o'clock for the PC, even though it's already plagued by a ton of different issues. We also got some Overwatch news, Final Fantasy, Titanfall. A couple things going on right now. It hasn't been all too much going on in the gaming industry on the PC side of things. I mean, all the video card stuff kind of died down, but we do have No Man's Sky, and there's plenty of things to be said about the game. But we kicked it off last time with just what we're playing right now currently. So, Jake, what are you currently playing?
What am I currently playing? Well, I'm playing Worms WMD for review, which is awesome. And then waiting for the second Batman episode and Pokemon Omega Ruby.
Has isn't the Hitman was it the fifth episode? Isn't that out right now? Bangkok.
Is it, I suppose so. I should probably be playing that as well.
Yeah, I know that. So Jake's reviewed all the rest of the Hitman episodes in the series, um, but apparently he didn't know the next one was coming out. So
I'm sorry. I think I skipped the fourth one. I think I was gone when the fourth one came out, so
was
I
that
got some catch up to
no? I
play.
thought you did that one, Sapienza or something like that.
That was number two.
Number two.
Number two. It's funny, huh?
Funny guy.
All right. Funny guy. And I think the No Man's Sky here, let me check really quick on Steam. I'm pretty sure it launched yesterday.
For some reason, I thought it was launching today.
I think it was yesterday at 1. You might have gotten your
Mm,
Yeah, at least yesterday. Currently has mixed reviews on Steam.
yeah.
57% of the 28,000 user reviews for this game are positive. So not a good uh, not a good margin. But apparently a lot of people have been playing it, huh?
Yeah, there was and kind of kind of mad right now. We set up pretty hastily, but some of the other tabs that I had open, I believe is 212,000 players jumped on for the launch of No Man's Sky, and that apparently is the biggest launch on Steam that any game has ever had. Over 212,000 players launching the game
It
initially,
was it
so that's
was
pretty
like
insane.
not even close. It was 212,620 people were playing it simultaneously as the game launched.
But I mean,
Which is
and
insane.
well, yeah, and then you look at all the known issues. I mean, I just posted something this morning that was talking about the development team working through the night until, and it was posted at like 4 a.m. All the different issues that they were having. Players were getting different frame rate stutters, which is it's pretty insane. The game's only, I think it was like 2.5 gigs for the total game.
Yeah, on here on the official system requirements, it says it's 10 gigs big, but I saw stuff that were people were saying that it was only like 2.5 gigs.
Maybe it's potentially updates that are going to be coming. I don't know, patches.
I guess so, but for a modern game, even if it was under 20 gigs, that's a small game. You know what I'm saying? Especially for something like this, I would expect it to be, massive.
Well, that's what one of the things I was saying was that well, I guess you consider. I think the what the content storage for a Blu-ray disc is like 25 gigs or something like that. If I'm pretty sure I'm wrong. But even at 10 gigs for a game that's supposed to contain quintillions of planets, within it, and all the other different species and everything like that. I don't. I'm just like it's confusing to me, especially after the day one patch that PS4 players saw, and then it just almost seemed like the PC version of the game was the shoe in as the best version.
Yeah, I don't know. It's comforting to know at least that developers are pushing out patches quickly. Because with a lot of these launches that are, kind of hit not so well, I mean, it generally takes a few days for a patch to be pushed out. Or, I mean, yeah, the developers take their time at least a little while. So it's comforting to know that they're already up and working and patching the game up.
Yeah, I can't say I will agree to that. You don't see a lot of developers, you know, at game launch keeping that open line of communication, saying that, yes, we are working on it. We worked through the night to support you guys. But I
Right.
think their hands were kind of tied in the whole process in the first place, which kind of that's one of the things that I talked to you about before that I wanted to discuss was just the hype behind No Man's Sky and from where it started at up until now until launch. Um, do you feel the same now that you did when No Man's Sky was being first talked about as it is now that it's out in the wild?
Um, that's a difficult question because the hype plays a big factor into it. You have to ask yourself if the game's even capable of living up to that. Um, so I don't know if I necessarily think about it the same way. To be completely honest with you, I was not that excited for it. I'm not that big into survival type, exploration games. I know it's big for a lot of people. It's not big for me. I like a story. So me personally, I don't really feel much different about it because, I understand where the hype train kind of goes, and on my end, I feel pretty much the same about the whole thing.
Yeah, I was for for some reason I had the same feeling that I had about Destiny about No Man's
Yeah.
Sky. I mean, it looked interesting, it looked pretty, but at the end of the day, it wasn't necessarily my cup of tea. I ended up buying Destiny and only playing it. Maybe I bet you I maybe logged 7 to 8 hours into the game, and I mean I understand like the role playing elements to it, all the armor and everything else that you can have within the game, but I don't know. For me, if maybe if they released it on PC, I think I would have played it more, just because I'm usually at my PC and find myself playing games more constantly when I'm actually sitting here and able to boot them up instead of going to my Xbox and updating and all that other stuff. So I don't know. Maybe down the line I might play No Man's Sky, but it just seems like they left a lot of potential things out of the initial release. Like there's tons more things coming in, and I don't feel we've seen the whole picture, the whole package hasn't been delivered yet.
Well, if the whole package hasn't been delivered, then that's a sin in and of itself. I mean, the game shouldn't be pushed out if it's not ready. I know there's been a number of delays, and there's been a lot of hype working behind it, but if it's not ready, it's not ready. I don't know. I think it, as far as Destiny goes, it's the same premise. I think it's the hype that I think there's a certain level of hype that a game works up that can kind of kill it if it doesn't reach this insane level of expectation that's been set out before. There's a few games that have delivered on that, but a lot more have failed to deliver on it.
Yeah, I was looking back to games like Brink. I don't know if you ever played Brink.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
objective-based shooter, and a lot of it dealt with parkour and all the customization you can do to your character. And
Right.
but again, it lives in a realm where you're primarily playing online, and games like Destiny, succumb to the same issues. You have server issues. You can play the single player mode, but at the end of the day, you're waiting to connect with others, and that's supposed to be the best thing about it. But in
Right.
No Man's Sky completely kind of eliminates that, and you're just kind of this lone survival game with some online elements. But I remember seeing the video that was like, "Can you play this game online?" No. Can you see other players? Sort of. And it's like, what? I, I don't know. I'm just not in that Minecraft state of mind to go and play a game like that. I just turn off to me.
Yeah, it's the same for me. I don't want to say that No Man's Sky is inherently a bad game. I think it has its place. I just don't think that. I think I maybe the development team and the fans were on a different page. I know the big thing is the performance issues on PC, but outside of that, I've just heard issues with the game in general, whether it be on PC, whether it be on console, no matter what. And it sounds like there was kind of a miscommunication somewhere that it may not be living up to what the fans thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I think.
You know,
Well, I
go
think
ahead.
that's part has to tie into the like the marketing side of things. The PlayStation marketed the game in such a way that people thought it was going to be one way, and they hit on these major points of the game, and I think that kind of, I mean, they had PlayStation pushing the envelope, for the success of the game on the console, but it kind of left everybody else out that was anticipating on PC, kind of with maybe they understood a little bit more what it was going to be, and then console players didn't. I don't know. There just seems like a gap in between the two in between the two realms, and I know, like, I've seen various other videos that talk about playing the game in 4K, and of course the PS4 is not capable of that. So
Right. Well, let's take a minute as PC gamers. This is not necessarily a brand new concept. This is something that has existed in the PC realm. There's things that are very similar. Maybe not exactly the same, but there's definitely a lot of games that are not too far off from No Man's Sky in the PC realm. Um, and I think that
what are you thinking about? What game or what
what game?
games?
I'm trying to think. There's no. I'm serious. You know these types of games exist, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, and
I
that's and almost like the same with Destiny, like
the
getting
Solaris project.
okay.
Was that? I think that was only on PC, wasn't
It
it?
was like H1Z1 kind of follows under the same sort of the survival, aspect to
What
it.
I'm the point I'm getting at is there's a lot more games on PC that are survival exploration type games than there are on console.
I would say that's true
Right. That's what I'm trying to say.
because there's no
And so,
limitations. There's less limitations.
right, and if you're going to be building, I mean, I'm trying to, I don't know, but if you're going to be building a game like this, it makes sense to release it on PC, and it's more of a PC oriented game, and a more free kind of open game where people, you know,
So
even
would
if
you
these
say
games,
that Sony took advantage of that?
I think maybe they were trying to introduce a concept to console players that maybe if there's games like this that are on console, they're not like games that you go to GameStop and buy off the shelf for $60. They're games that are on the store or something like that. And so if maybe what was happening was they were introducing an idea of this kind of larger open exploration game that maybe the mainstream market of console players hadn't seen yet. And so they hear this concept and they get really, really wildly excited about it because it sounds really cool and it sounds awesome. And they go home and play it and are disappointed because, well, there's been a lot of other games that are kind of in the similar vein that people have known about and have explored before. And this is not anything out of the ordinary for them. And it's good for some people. It's bad for others,
I would.
So what I'm saying, they're marketing into a particular way.
And I think that's where the communication comes across is that Sony was pushing it as this is this type of game that console players aren't used to, and this is what you can expect. Whereas on the PC side of things, everybody kind of knew what they were getting, and they're like, oh, I don't know. I just felt like they were like, we understand what exactly the game consists of. And you guys might be a little disappointed to think that it's, this online multiplayer game where you're going to be blasting off the planets and interacting with one another, and it's really you're just kind of isolated out there, just discovering things and what's a no, there's a couple of games out right now. I can't think of them. DJ, buddy DJ plays them all the time. He's part of his stream. I'm having a brain fart, but Elite Dangerous. There you go.
Yeah.
So I mean that's, I guess one example, but I don't know. I can't stand behind the hype. Like it's just not for me at this point. And I mean maybe if they introduce things later or the game get some sort of discount, which I can foresee happening, or maybe I get a better video card. I'll anticipate playing it, but it just seems very barren, and everything I've heard about the game, I mean, sounds boring to me.
Right. That's the thing that I don't like about it is they're like there's quintillion planets and blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, but what are you gonna do? And they're like, oh, they're the size of real planets. I'm like, I don't want to walk around an entire planet. Like I
By
don't.
yourself, mining.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, maybe if there was a community and maybe stuff like that, I get it. But I think it's a they market it as the game. I mean, obviously you're going to market your game as if it's for everyone, and I just don't think that these open world exploration type games are for everyone. I think that they have a particular thing. Even Minecraft has its own. Now, is there a crafting system inside of No Man's Sky?
I think you go to like these different buildings that are located on each one of the planets, and probably butchering it, but from what I've seen, you can collect different items, and like to repair your ship. That's like the first thing that you do is you've crashed on this planet, and the first goal is to repair your ship and I guess craft the elements to do it. And I think that's the only area where it exists, but I mean.
That's a problem. You should I mean, if a feature doesn't exist to set up a like a home base and on these planets, or to claim some parts of these planets, I feel like that's a huge missed opportunity. But again, I haven't played the game yet, so I might just be, it might already exist. If it doesn't exist, then that needs to exist.
So do you plan on? Do you think you will pick the game up?
No. I mean, if it's cheap,
no.
But more than likely, no. It's just not my kind of game. Like I said, I've played like Ark is a prime example.
Yeah.
I just don't. Ark isn't inherently a bad game. I think the optimization's horrible and it pisses me off, but I don't think it's a terrible game. It's just not for me. Like I don't like those kind of games. I like a story.
I
In my world, story is king.
and especially on Xbox. So I downloaded on Xbox whatever the preview that they had for it, and it was complete trash. I was very surprised to see it, and that kind of gets into the early access games, preview games, and they should be an alpha build when they enter, those preview spaces. But I mean, I didn't really care too much for Arc. I did understand, kind of the premise behind it, and still in early access. But then you look at, and I even played, We Happy Few, and compared it to the culling and Arc, and very similar elements. But I mean, as far as We Happy Few goes, I mean, in its current state, I can say that it's leaps and bounds from where Arc was initially. But I mean, it's about matched with the culling. Similar abilities present in the both.
Yeah, I maybe No Man's Sky should have been early access. You get in a weird spot though because early access, in my mind, should be part adding content, but it also should be optimizing your game. And I feel like early access right now is kind of there's some games that take advantage of not just not just adding they just add new content. They don't actually optimize their game, and Arc is in that spot. But if I don't think it'd be a horrible thing if No Man's Sky came out for 25, $30 in early access. I feel like it might have for open world games like that. It might have even been a better choice.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still very weary about early access games because then you get games that you're getting a ton of feedback from the community that's playing it. There's a lot of people playing the game during its development process. They're adding things that people suggest, and then when the game leaves early access, you don't really hear too much more about it other than this game was being developed. People want to play early builds, closed betas, alphas, and get an idea on a smaller scale. But then when you release it to the majority of people out there, and everybody has a say in it, I don't know, kind of lose the sight of the development process. It,
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not necessarily a fan of early access games. I mean, they're a lot different than indie titles, even though indie titles do enter early access. But
yeah.
I just don't see the big picture or the big point behind it.
I can see that. I mean, for the majority of them, it's just to not have to upfront money. To be honest, I feel like that's the big business wise. I feel like that's the big reason for a majority of it. But um,
But then again, if you show something super kick ass and in early access and more people, and like say you have the game on a Kickstarter, and which is another dying platform, and you have more people excited about it, then maybe you will recoup the compensation to push it through development.
money is so readily available right now for anybody, for anyone who wants to do something. I feel like that's the reason why there's a lot of shit pushed out the door as far as video games go, because you get a good trailer or you get a good concept or you get something of that nature, and then you push out the door because someone gave you a few bucks. And I feel like maybe early access is a for in some cases, not in all cases, is a continuation of being able to harvest money without necessarily putting out a decent product because you say, oh, we're going to buy the game immediately. So, it's a lot more people I feel like will get involved in that because it's something that you can tangible, that you can grab immediately, that you're actually purchasing something. I feel like maybe Kickstarter or Indiegogo maybe is a better platform because more stuff that is, it seems that more stuff through Kickstarter and through Indiegogo has been successful and has been pushed out the door and has been a good product than I see with early access. It seems like every game, you don't have like those early access, like insane success stories. Not that I can think of, at least.
Yeah, I think that kind of
Like
stopped
you,
at. Well, you get games like what was it, Double Fine that had the explosion on Kickstarter, but I mean there hasn't really
yeah.
been anything else since. And Fig has been another platform where investors get their money back by investing in a concept or the initial phases of the development process. But I don't know. I mean, maybe that was what led to No Man's Sky being in the predicament that it's in with so many faults to it launching. Once Sony gave them tons of money to probably complete the development process, and then that's where we ended up today.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I don't know. Not my cup of tea. I like stories.
or you'll just end up like Final Fantasy. So that's another one of the topics we wanted to cover. Final Fantasy 15 was announced today that it was delayed up until November. What are your thoughts on that?
Boo hoo.
Boo freaking who.
After their atrocious E3 presentation, I'm not too excited.
I was trying to pull it up too. I have a video saved on my phone. I was recording and just while we were at E3 and remember seeing the gameplay presentation during the Xbox press conference and just seeing like everybody, like I felt embarrassed for them displaying the demo that they did, and I remember they kind of attacked the monster just correctly in the right spot, and it was just like everybody was kind of watching and like, oh my god, can't believe this is happening right now.
Yeah, there was absolute. They were on stage. They were even like, "What's happening right now?"
uh,
So yeah, I'm not. I don't really care. I feel like they blew it at E3
yes.
for me. Anything that I was looking forward to in Final Fantasy 15 has swiftly gone out the door.
Yeah, I mean I can say that it's not like I didn't see this coming, at all, because
Yeah,
I mean, the game's been pushed back, and it's kind of one of those things that you think is never going to happen, and who knows? They did say November, but are they looking to market it for the fourth quarter to recoup funds? Who knows? It's at this point it's a unicorn, and who knows if it's ever going to be seen.
right. Well, I did. They had hands-on demos at E3, right?
I believe so.
Yeah,
I want to
I
say
could
for the
have.
PS4.
I Okay. I just don't. I could have swore some Himanshu I thought told me that it wasn't very good.
Hmm.
I just don't want to. I just don't want to put that out there, and then people. Oh, there was no demo. Well, I'm sorry. I could thought that was the case.
um,
I thought Himanshu told me that it wasn't very good, but that could just me
yeah,
saying that.
I vaguely remember him saying something like that. Um,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
I'm not too excited. I don't really care
I
about it
mean, the game looks
at this point.
freaking beautiful. Every scene that I see looks like a live action film. But then when you get into simple things like combat that they're playing on at an Xbox press conference, that's supposed to be your big platform to debut, and it looks like complete shit, and it's breaking right in front of everybody.
They should make an anime.
I would much take the anime over anything that they have right now.
Yeah. I mean, they should make another Final Fantasy. If that's what they're interested in, they should make another Final Fantasy movie.
Or just rely on their Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yeah, that would probably be a better option at this point because clearly what they're doing right now with pushing the Final Fantasy series forward is not going very well.
Man, you know what I just realized? That we talked about everything that
What?
you're playing right now, and I didn't even talk about what I'm playing right now.
I don't care about what you're playing. No one
I don't
cares.
care either. It doesn't
What do you?
matter. Why? Why? It doesn't matter. The only thing I play is Rocket League.
That's true. Rocket League and Rive or Riv.
Oh yeah, I was playing the Rive press demo. I really like it. It's really cool. I put a preview up on our YouTube channel here, so if you want to check that out after this, the complete press playthrough for Rive. Ton of improvements though from the initial one. We see some uh, character introduced, a few things with the game mechanics, how you use weaponry, but I mean, I think the game looks really well done. I like all the animations, the platforming. It's a different take on kind of shmup platformer slash adventure game, so I'm looking forward to it.
Nice.
You're nice. Um,
Nice.
and one game we both played. Let me see if I can shave your legs. Did I just say that?
What?
What? Some people say
You can
cucumber tastes
shave my
better
leg.
pickled. If I negative. Oh, whatever.
Something that we've been both playing. What is that?
I'm trying to make it happen here, my friend.
Oh.
Let's see. Well, while I try and get the trailer to.
When you think about
Titanfall?
Titanfall, you don't think single player, and that's for
Oh,
a very good reason. The first game didn't have one, so stands to reason that it's not.
so what are your current thoughts on Titanfall 2, Mr. Blister?
Played it. Played it at E3 and I loved it. It was like Titanfall 1, except a lot better feeling. Like it controlled better. That's about as analytical as I can get with it. It controlled better. No,
I
it just felt smooth. Everything about it, the jumping, the parkour type stuff in there, it felt like I was playing the trailer of you see all these like advanced, the Call of Duty and all that stuff, and you see the trailer and you're like, oh, I can't wait to do something like that. It'd be so cool. And then to actually pull it off in game is next to impossible. And Titanfall 2 was like, that's possible because it just controlled so well.
I'm just gonna drag it into the scene so we can play it over the. Aside from this, gosh damn it!
There you go.
At least we can watch what this creepy movie is. Free. Look, this is an ad within an ad.
I can't wait to see Don't Breathe, by the way.
Don't hold your breath.
You shut your mouth.
Comes to mind.
Okay,
It's best to give us some insight
look,
into
dinosaurs.
the multiplayer, but a lot of people were left wishing they had
Yeah.
more of an insight into this massive world and lore that had been.
So this is the most recent multiplayer trailer for Titanfall 2. Looks a
Single player.
or single player, excuse me. No, I think
Nah,
I thought for
I thought it was single player.
no. Oh,
Oh,
that's my mistake. They were introducing a new multiplayer trailer, but this is the single player that they just put up recently too. Um, no, I'm a huge fan of like Modern Warfare 2, and I mean it feels like a lot of the same elements in the engine that are used for Titanfall are used in Modern Warfare and from Modern Warfare 2. But I mean I love the shit out of Titanfall, and I had a blast playing it at E3. I played a couple different times. Um, but I'm super stoked to play this game. I don't know how I feel about introducing a single player to it. Maybe they're
Oh, I'm
trying.
excited for it.
I don't know. I just. I mean, maybe if you had. I like what they did where they had different elements where you can play different scenarios, and you're with a group of people, and it kind of outlined a little
But
more what was
like, I mean,
happening. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about having a single player campaign though.
I f- can't hurt. I mean, what's it is we play the multiplayer. We know the multiplayer is good. If that's the multiplayer that's going to come out in the game, it's going to be good. And and so I'm not. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with the single player. I mean, it's
I guess I just
it's
don't want the
there.
focus steered away from what they've done with the multiplayer and focus solely on the campaign and forget every. I mean, it's not like they don't know how to tell a story, so I don't see that happening. But just some of the elements, I don't want it to take too much away from the multiplayer experience that they, essentially just built a multiplayer, then now have gone back to build a single player. I
Yeah.
think they're looking for more Titanfall lore within the game, to kind of build up the franchise a little more. But I mean,
See,
shit, I'm ready.
I would rather they put it in there because right now you got to think there's not too many. I mean, there's Call of Duty, okay, which they do the single player campaign, they do the single player thing, but it's like what games, Halo kind of isn't what it used to be. Call of Duty certainly isn't what it used to be. We used to have quite a few games, quite a few franchises that were games that were going to come out on a release schedule and that were actually good single player shooters. And now we don't really have too much of that anymore. The best single player shooter that I can think of this year is Doom by far, and I can't think of very many others.
Oh yeah, Doom was, and exactly my point. If you look at Doom, which was heavily focused just on the single player aspect of the game, and what seemed to falter through it all was the multiplayer aspect to it. It was kind of the release of beta. It seemed a little hodgepodge together, and then there's people wanting more, and then they had these massive patches coming out for the game, and then it kind of just is what it is. That game actually reminds me of the multiplayer a lot of Halo, aside from the traditional Doom. But the best part of the game was the single player.
Yeah, but I like the multiplayer. There's nothing wrong with the multiplayer, but they went in knowing that it was going to be a single player based game, like single player focused game. And I don't think Titanfall 2 they're making it a single player focused game. I think they're just saying that it's going to be there, and so I'm curious to see what they do with it because currently
So answer me this: what was the best part about Doom's multiplayer to you then?
what was the best part about it?
Yeah.
I don't. It wasn't anything special. What it was though is just you had solid shooting mechanics, and you're putting in a multiplayer space. I mean, you had this fast paced combat in the campaign. Quick weapon switches, stuff like that. Of course, you only had two weapons in the multiplayer, and I mean, it was just that it was solid mechanics, just a solid game, and how the game was made. That's what the multiplayer was good for. It wasn't anything like insane or anything special, but it was good.
See, and I think that's where Quake Champions is gonna fill that void. It's gonna basically everything that was intended for the Doom. I don't know. I kind of feel like the Doom multiplayer was kind of a test platform to see, what they could achieve within the current engine, and then move towards putting all their focus into Quake Champions, and that's what we're going to receive is everything that we wanted out of the Doom multiplayer we're going to see in Quake Champions.
Right.
Which is not a bad thing at all.
Right. I want to go back to what you said about Titanfall, though, because you said you're worried that they're going to be focusing on the single-player campaign. You used Doom as an example. You said that, well, the multiplayer maybe got pushed to the side and they made a good single-player campaign. What's so wrong with that? Like, if Titanfall 2 comes out and the multiplayer is okay and the single-player campaign's as good as Doom, then is there an issue there?
Yeah, because it takes a lot for me to, have my focus on a game or continuously go back and play it. I'll use Battlefront as an example. I haven't played Battlefront in probably months, and it's strictly multiplayer game with they scrapped the story mode from it, but I don't think they really executed that well on it. And when I look back at games like Titanfall, I was gonna go back and play it just the other day, just because it's such a fun game to play. There's so many mechanics and elements to the multiplayer, and I just feel like they're gonna shoot themselves in the foot if they focus on the single player campaign for a game that doesn't necessarily need one, and then the end result is a multiplayer experience that's less than par, that's not as good as the first, and was only due to the fact that they took so much time and energy just to make a single player campaign because now it's going multi-platform. Now that it's going to be released on the PS4.
I think they made Titanfall 1. They said, okay, we made a solid multiplayer experience, and our single player experience, whatever small portion of single player experience was there, was not very good. Okay, and they said, okay, well, we have a solid multiplayer experience. So don't you think going the second time around, they kind of know where they're going multiplayer wise? they probably have to put a lot less energy into the multiplayer experience this time around because they probably know where they're going. Now, I don't think they should just tack on the same multiplayer that was in the first one. I think they should improve it as much as they can. But I think sometimes that a single player campaign can actually drive the multiplayer forward. If you have a game that's really, if you have a game that is really solid and you're really putting in a lot of cool different mechanics, then you might be able, through the development of a single player campaign, be able to push the multiplayer forward. They already have a solid foundation for multiplayer, and even if it was just the same multiplayer as the first, it certainly wouldn't be bad. And so what I'm saying is if they focus a little bit more time on the single player, I don't think that's going to hurt the multiplayer because they already kind of know where they're going.
I
You
mean,
know?
I guess I could see that. I guess I could see, over the course of the development for the single player campaign that you, you're not just focused on making a multiplayer experience, and different elements start to arise because of that. Maybe they were going to have in the multiplayer where you couldn't, parkour certain things or jump on certain areas, and then through the course of the development for the single player campaign, they were like, no, you can totally do it this way, and then adding those elements back into the multiplayer, because I mean, essentially they're two different beasts. You're grounded to the single player experience and not playing as a competitive mode, and I guess enacting certain elements into that competitive mode from the single player campaign, I guess, could be beneficial. I'm just concerned, like, and solely because, like, I think Titanfall is an awesome franchise, from where it came from Respawn and to where it is now. And I think they did the development process right. It's been years since we've seen a second game for it, and I think they've taken this time, I guess, to curate the process. So I don't know. Unlike unlike Final Fantasy, they're two different genres where we never know if we're going to even see another Final Fantasy, game, or see 15 ever debut. But we know that Titanfall's coming. It already has a release date, and I mean, it already looks polished. I'm just worried that it's going to take away from a game that I grew to love because it was so well done in the multiplayer aspect.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not worried about it. I think they're capable. I think at the very worst case scenario, honestly, I don't think the
I guess
guys
it
at
just
Respawn
doesn't
are
seem.
stupid.
I guess it just doesn't seem necessary to me.
Maybe
That's
it's
what I'm
not
getting at.
necessary, but I think in my mind the reason I'm not too worried about it is because I feel like worst case scenario that the single player campaign is just eh. Like I feel like that's the worst case scenario. I think Respawn knows that the multiplayer. I mean, these are guys that worked on Modern Warfare 2,
Right.
These guys know that the multiplayer is going to be their key to success. Okay, I don't think these guys for a minute think that their single player is going to be the best thing ever and multiplayer is I think they know very clear. I mean, look at Titanfall 1. They made a multiplayer straight game because they probably knew why'd even include a single player because multiplayer's where it's at. And I think at this point they're including multiplayer because, including single player because, hey, you want to push the series forward, you want to push this lore forward, you might as well try. But I don't think that they're going to focus on the multiplayer list because I think they're smart enough to know that the multiplayer is what's going to drive it forward.
Yeah, and I guess I guess at the end of the day, you can't knock them. You can't knock Respawn for adding depth to a franchise. I mean, bottom line.
And the worst case scenario, you have a bad or a halfway decent, I'm sure it won't be terrible, but you have a halfway decent single-player campaign. But on the flip side, what if we have an amazing single-player campaign?
True.
And what if it drives this whole new, like, Halo, for instance, was a perfect example of that. Halo had an amazing single-player campaign, and it also had incredible multiplayer. And you haven't seen a game like Halo, like a franchise like Halo, since the first few Halo games.
Yeah, and I guess you could say that a lot of people would argue that the most recent iterations of the Halo multiplayer is just regurgitated from the previous installment and adding a few new things. But that's what makes the Halo multiplayer so great is people have grown accustomed to the elements that you were introduced to when the franchise was first introduced, and that's why you like playing Halo, you know. But
Yeah,
I don't know. I just
the
don't want it to
last
get watered down, I guess.
right, the last Halo game I played was Reach, and I think Reach is like the pinnacle Halo experience. Um, Kind of the love letter from
Bungie.
Bungie, yeah. The love letter. I feel like it was kind of a love letter for Bungie, and like that's kind of the definitive Halo experience. And then everything I've played since then, Halo 4 and Guardians is out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't played 4 only, but actually no, I take that back. I played some of 4 and the Master Chief Collection, the
It wasn't
multiplayer.
bad. It's just
I have
not.
5 still in the package, sitting on my
Yeah,
shelf.
yeah, it's not bad by any means. I just don't think that it's like it's not the same Halo. And I feel like for Titan, I think Respawn kind of sees a void right now that can very easily be filled. And when I look at Titanfall now, when I looked at the first Titanfall, I was just like, oh, Call of Duty, right? When I look at Titanfall 2, the first thing I think is Halo. Every single time I look at it, it just screams Halo to me. And that's why I'm excited for the single players, because don't get me wrong, I love me some Halo multiplayer, but I love that I could jump in and get a good single player experience too. Because the fact of the matter is, I don't like sitting, I like multiplayer, but we were talking about this earlier. I love stories, and I like to, in a game, I like to see a good story, and so, you know,
Yeah, I think
I feel like there's potential here.
I once Halo comes back to its PC roots, I think that the series is going to take off. But well, I guess at the same time, that's it, you. Halo used to be the reason. I think we talked about this before. Halo was the reason to purchase an Xbox, and there's
Yeah.
not really any reason to buy an Xbox anymore. So why not capitalize on one of the major franchises that you have and bring it to PC, especially with all the PC integrations coming, between
Right.
Xbox and PC. So
Well, the whole what Xbox is trying to do with, or Microsoft's trying to do with PC right now, just in general, that's a whole nother discussion. I think we talked about that at E3 a little bit. I think on my theories about what Microsoft is doing.
yeah, there's a bridge that doesn't need to be gapped there, but they're building that bridge anyway, and
Oh no, dude! I'm still going back to, I think they're working themselves out of the market.
but again, it's one of those things. Their market anymore isn't consoles. It's the games that are on those platforms. And if they really want to, substantiate themselves again, they're gonna move to have the majority of the games be on PC. And they've already expressed interest in doing that.
Right. That's what I'm saying though, is that I feel like they're focusing much less on the console sales, because I think they realize that, okay, our bread's going to be made from these games, and if we can capitalize on the PC market, which is, this is a personal thing. I don't know if it's how factual it is, or if it's quantified anywhere, but the I know a lot of people I know are, more of them are building PCs. More and more of them, more people I know, friends of mine, are moving over and playing PC games now. And so I, this is just my personal experience, but I feel like maybe there's more, there's a larger market that Microsoft sees that it needs to tap into now. That's maybe more lucrative than them just trying to do their own thing with Xbox. And if that's the case, then, I don't know what PlayStation's gonna do. I think Nintendo will be fine.
Yeah, and that's
Uh,
the whole next console generation is PlayStation Neo, then you have the Xbox Scorpio, then you have Nintendo dipping its toes in the water with Tegra, and we don't know what the hell's going on. And just kind
Whatever
of
Nintendo's, but that's the thing, is Nintendo's Nintendo, and I don't think that Nintendo's going to create a big, a big black box like everyone else is. Nintendo's going to try and do something different.
yeah, and I genuinely feel that way too. They're utilizing their IP to permeate other membranes out there, and if they can pull off that concept and move their IP, which I don't know if it'll ever happen to the PC market, because they're gonna have a stranglehold on whatever IPs that are under their belt, because I mean that's their money makers, like Mario and um, Yoshi and Bowser and Luigi and um, Kid
Pokemon.
Icarus, Pokemon. They aren't releasing their IPs. I mean, look how long it took them to get to mobile, and they focus primarily on their mobile market, and that is just because they have the 3DS. But I don't know. It's a very we're in limbo right now, very much so in the market, because I mean, but PC players, of course, you can continue playing PCs and buy whatever consoles you want to play those games on, I guess.
And that's the beautiful thing is PC's still gonna be running. PC's still gonna be trucking.
Keep on trucking, mother. Hey,
All right, I think we have
damn.
real quick. Yeah, it's already been an hour. We have a couple more things. Um, okay, there's high bandwidth now for Overwatch. High bandwidth support.
Which
So
again,
that's 60 hertz.
when it comes down to having a seamless multiplayer experience, Overwatch did it the right way. It's a fun game to play. I love playing Junkrat and playing 9, 10 games, 20 games of Overwatch in a single sitting. So I mean that's just better news for again PC players, new servers. You know, better connectivity, better matchmaking to get you online faster with better connections. So I don't see a problem.
Right. So better. Well, wait, they're talking about the refresh rate
The refresh rate or
of the game.
the? Oh, I was looking at the new servers going up for Overwatch.
PCRC's update from the server has been a point of contention for a lot of players. The game's normal rate is 21 hertz. That's 21 updates per second, which some people believe is just too slow. So it is the servers. It's faster. It's an option to have a faster refresh rate with the servers.
Whoop.
Anyway, that means that from a competitive standpoint, Overwatch is going to be a lot more fluid, and players will be able to see things happening, as fast as possible, much faster than they were before. So that's pretty cool for Overwatch. I
Is
don't
that a
play Overwatch.
bracelet? Is that a bracelet from your tour?
Yes, it is.
We have a
I have a
rock
couple.
star in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
I got my tour passes over there, but that's pretty cool for Overwatch players, and yeah,
Yeah, very
I
much
mean,
so. I mean, I normally don't have any connection issues. I have had a few times, but
it. I don't think it's a connection thing. I think like it's fluidity on screen. So you may have a slight lag that you may not know. You probably don't. I mean, you don't play the game competitively, do you?
are you kidding me? Do I play competitively?
Probably not.
No, I
Anyway,
don't.
and so for people who are competitive, those few extra frames that they aren't getting kicked back from the servers may be the things that decide a match or something like that. So it might be important for them. I don't think it's like straight like losing connection though. I don't think that's the big issue.
And
You're last one, Nordic.
last one. Yes, THQ Nordic
Yeah,
rebranded once again. Can't get rid of THQ. Everybody, for those that you don't of blah, 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 blah. For those of you that don't know, the THQ brand, of course, was a long time developer, publisher. We've seen a lot of different IPs come from THQ, Darksiders. Um, they published Saints Row since releasing that, and so we're definitely seeing it, right? Deep
yeah.
Silver developed, THQ published, um, or Volition. I don't know. I'm getting all mixed up, but anyways, there's 13 IPs that are floating around out there that we may see, um, in the works. But I just think that's an interesting, where it came from. If they were looking to reintroduce this THQ name along with Nordic all along, and then all of a sudden it's back out of the public eye that the THQ name. I don't know. I honestly don't know what's going to happen. I know I have seen some unfinished gameplay of a few games, so maybe those will start to resurface again.
I'm just excited because Darksiders 1 remaster after that horrible thing called Darksiders 2 came out.
I think the Darksiders
And
franchise
yeah,
in general sucks, but that's just me.
well, that's a terrible opinion to have. And I'm really happy because I'm on PC Gamer right now and they have a typo.
Oh,
They have installment in the last paragraph of that article. It's with one L and not two.
isn't that how the Canadians spell it? Y'all Canadians out there? Negative?
I don't think PC Gamer is Canadian.
You're Canadian.
No, I'm not. Enthusiast is Canadian, but I'm not. I'm a full-blood American. You take those words out of your mouth, or I'll come over there with my gun, which is legal here, and I'll shoot you in the foot.
Is that a threat? Everybody
I don't
just witnessed Jake making a threat live.
It's a threat. I just witnessed a typo on PC Gamer. They should hire me as an editor.
No.
That'd be so good.
What do you
That'd be
think?
so
You're
good.
you're just some sort of game savior?
Ha! Plug for Game Savior.
Okay. Yeah. That covers everything. Longer than we thought we were going to go, especially with you bagging on Titanfall, and you're a big jerk for doing that. And I hope
Bagging
you never
on
get to,
Titanfall.
I hope you never get to play it. And
Whatever. You're gonna send me the review code, right?
maybe. But thanks everybody for watching. Gonna end on this note. If you peek over my shoulder, you'll see the HyperX Cloud Revolver over there that I just got for review. Be jelly. Look at that face. Screams jealousy.
I run a recording studio. I got high quality audio over here.
No, I actually am pretty
I
excited.
got a microphone.
Hooked it up, so the review will be coming. But I do want to leave. What else are you going to be playing this week, Mr. Jacob? And what else you got for review right now?
Worms and Hitman, apparently. I don't know that. But Worms for sure. Hitman, cool little game on Steam called Blood and Bacon.
What?
That I played a little bit. Yeah, it's a buck. It's really cool. It's like a really bad bootleg version of Left 4 Dead, except you kill pigs. It's only $1, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, I would pay
It's just
$1 to
everyone
play
goes
that. And
Yeah.
then I am,
That's about it. Pokemon.
of course, going to be playing Rocket League because that's the only thing I play because I live
Yeah.
a very sad life. I need to jump back into We Happy Few, see what updates there are. I did write the preview up for the site. I don't think I have anything out for review right now, but it's the next anticipated game. But yeah, thanks you guys for watching. Any final last words?
Titanfall is going to be great, including the single player.
Go listen to Reconcera.
Go subscribe to Game Savior.
Don't subscribe to Game Savior.
Subscribe to Game Savior.
I took you off. All right, thanks everybody for watching. Later.
All right.